Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of Module 3, Price Ladder Absorption, Reloading, and Iceberging. So what we're going to cover in this section is actually the main reasons for what we see in the price ladder with regards to absorption, reloading, and like we said before, iceberging. So, to put this into context, obviously the way we have kind of structured this course is obviously to cater more towards intraday traders because, to take advantage of small order book opportunities, you have to be watching the price ladder for most of the day. But obviously, the bigger time frame participants that come into the market are the ones that move the market, are the ones that actually offer the opportunity to us. So we, as intraday traders, as professional prop traders, we're looking to find where the big institutions, where the big institutions are active. So these big institutions could be, um, well, they could be hedge funds, they could be mutual funds, they could be any sort of massive institution. They could just be an asset management company, any sort of asset management company that needs to move size around. Now, the key word here, what I just mentioned, is size. So when you're a big institution and you need to, let's say, buy or sell a large amount of contracts, you don't want to let the other market participants know your hand. So if you take it, for example, as a game of poker, you don't want to let the other people know your hand. You don't want to know you've got pocket aces, because then they won't bet against you. So the whole point of this is if they come to market with a large amount of size, most market participants would probably jump in front of them and they wouldn't be able to get filled or get their position off. So especially if these institutions, like we just mentioned here, are looking to get out of a position quite aggressively and they let people know that they need to get out quite aggressively, the market is going to make them feel the pain. So from the aspect of what they could actually do, let's just say an institution, in example A, had to buy 10,000 lots of the contract that we see here, the Bund contract. Now, let's just say they had to buy 10,000 contracts, and as you can see on the bid, we currently have 223 lots. Let's just make that a little bit smaller so you can see that. 223 lots. Now, for example, if they had 10K lots and they split that into slices of 100 lots, they'd have to do 100 lots 100 times. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to do it over 90s. They could do it over a few prices or maybe 10 to 20 prices. For them, 10 to 15 prices is just a basis point. So they might just say, okay, over this basis point, let me get this many contracts away. But for example, let's say you had, hypothetically had to get away 10,000 lots at 155.90s. If someone were to sell 100 lots into that bid, or as we say, hit the bid with 100 lots, he wouldn't show it. He wouldn't show these 10,000 lots. He'd show whatever. He'd put 100 lots, let's say, on the bid. Every time someone sells 100 lots into them, if someone would sell, so if someone would sell 100, he would automatically reload 100. So if that went down to, let's say, 123, he'd quickly put that back up to 223 and keep adding every time someone would sell into it. Now, let's just say we're looking potentially at a large absorption seller in the market. So this is another scenario now. Let's just say in scenario B, we have a seller of, for example, 15 or 1.5K lots. So in that scenario, let's just say that these 15 lots here on the offer, as we can see, and let's just say he wanted to sell at 155.91s. Let's just say these 15 lots were his. In order to sell 1.5k, he'd essentially have to sell 100 lots, or 115 lot slices. So he would split a 1.5k order into 100 times 15 lots to get off his order. But this is a little bit more advanced now, because what would happen now, he's got 15 on the offer, and to anyone trading on an intraday perspective, a local or some sort of prop trader that trades from home, a retail trader, he's looking at these 15 lots saying, you know, I could just take these out myself. I could just quickly buy 15 lots, lift 15, and this will go, essentially, if it went bid 91s, you'd see the bid here, and um, this would now be the best offer. So this would be the best offer. Instead of 91s, 92s would be the best offer, and 91s would be the best bid. We'd have, let's say, 100 lots here. So you could just lift those 15s and essentially take the market bid. However, little does that little trader know that if he lifts 15, that big institutional seller is going to put another 15 on there. Now, obviously, to the naked eye, you know, if you keep seeing 15 reload, it's quite easy to spot. But let's just say hypothetically he did that. Usually what they do is split it up into little more obscure sizes that, you know, us locals can't see with our naked eye. But if someone were to lift 15 and he kept reloading 15, 15, 15, and he did this 100 times at these 91s, and someone kept lifting into him, thinking he could take him out, essentially, as long as someone keeps buying there, he'll manage to get his full 1.5k lots without actually moving the market. Because if he would essentially, in the converse scenario, actually offer 1,500 lots here, and someone saw 1,500 along this whole order book, that'll be the biggest size in the book. And whoever's willing to buy here is probably going to say, you know what, maybe I'll wait for this guy to get his sell order done. I'll move some of my bids down, and the market will start, you know, moving away from this offer, and potentially this guy won't get filled. And if you're not getting filled, you're not trading. So this is the main reason why institutions reload, absorb, and iceberg. It's usually a function of big size. So if we had to put one main reason, when there's absorption, it's usually because there's big size to be done. And if there's big size, that could potentially move the market. So in that context, this is basically why institutions split up their orders and absorb. In the next series of this module, we're going to actually look at identifying order absorption levels and areas. So potentially we'll just pull up a chart and briefly go through that, where we can actually identify these areas and levels. And then we'll actually look at how it looks like on the price ladder and how we can identify it on the price ladder itself. So stay tuned, and thank you very much for listening in.